So sitting here with UNMANI for the second part of our little talk here. This thing everybody's searching for, or everyone who's involved in this, do you call it enlightenment? What do you call it?
Well, I don't normally use that word, but obviously people who come to the meetings use all kinds of spiritual concepts like that. I would maybe call it recognizing who you are. Sometimes I talk about waking up out of the dream of the belief in me, or the belief in that the play of separation is really all that there is, that there's only separation. Yeah,
because enlightenment gives you a sense of, wow, it's going to be a big bright light, and I'm going to see everything's going to taste better, and I'm going to see life for what it is. And
it also usually is understood to mean some kind of special experience for me. For me. I'm going to be an enlightened person, personally, and then I'll be really special, and everyone else will acknowledge me for that.
Yeah. And I can also give satsangs and earn lots of money. Yeah. But denying this me, this person, that's not the way, right? Or
no, I wouldn't deny the kind of humanness or the felt sensations and emotions that are there, and thoughts as well. They all play out. It's just that when you actually stop for a moment and look for an actual me that is somehow in control or owning whatever happens, you won't find one. I mean, you only find a thought that assumes that there's a me, that insists, me. So it's a kind of strange paradox in a way that even though you look and you can't find a me, these beliefs still play out as if there is a me. And for a lot of people who are searching, this paradox doesn't seem to make sense, and usually means that people continue searching because they think that they haven't got it yet, if they still have these beliefs that play out. But I would actually say that in recognizing who you are, not all of these beliefs fall away all at once, and if they play out, it doesn't mean that you've lost anything, because they are appearing on that movie screen, in you, in who you really are. So they don't mean anything about who you are. And if there's a belief in a me, it doesn't mean that there really is a me, because any time you check whether there is a me, there isn't one.
So it's just a belief.
It's just a belief.
Yeah.
And seeing it just as a belief appearing in you, well, it's not such a big deal.
Yeah. So you sometimes feel like a me?
Well, the beliefs or stories come up, but they're never believed to actually mean that there really is a me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the word me is used, and the various sensations or emotions with the story about what happens for this me here, apparently, do play out. But there's no problem with that. It's just life's entertainment.
So you wouldn't see UNMANI as the first running to the buffet because she's afraid she won't get a full plate of food. Like that's for me an example. That you see people at a party or something, and the buffet is still closed. How do you call it in English? Buffet? Yeah. And then suddenly someone blows the whistle, and people start running because they're afraid they're not gonna get the fresh food. Or is that something that is really something the me believes in, that I have to get it for me, I have to get it first, I have to get the biggest piece of pie? Or is that something that never will happen again in your...
I wouldn't say never about anything.
No.
I mean, those kind of survival mechanisms are welcome to play out, because sometimes they're necessary.
Yeah.
Sometimes, the nature of thought and this belief in me that appears sometimes is to kind of protect this body thing. So, and thought will do anything sometimes in order to protect that body if it felt that there's a threat.
Mm-hmm.
So those things are welcome to play out. Thought does a very good job of trying to protect the body sometimes. Sometimes, yeah, it can be a little bit over the top, but it does its best to
So it's always good intentions, you say.
yeah, absolutely. And I feel like it's important to see thought like that. That it's not the enemy, it's not the bad guy that needs to be got rid of, but actually to see the nature of it.
It has good intentions.
Yeah, it's really trying to help, actually. It's trying to protect the body, it's trying to make sure that that there's survival of what it believes is me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, it can be kind of useful at times, but it's about seeing the nature of it, seeing, well, thought has a certain job, it's also very useful at technical, practical things, and
No enemy. I don't have to get rid
no.
of my thoughts.
No, and even if you, well, I mean, the point is you can't anyway. You know, you try to get rid of thoughts, but actually, the thought that says I should get rid of my thoughts is just another thought, you know, and it's trying to get rid of thoughts for me again, because it imagines if I got rid of all my thoughts, then my personal experience would be better.
Mm-hmm.
But then who cares? Who is the one that even cares about my experience? The me again, the belief in the me.
So you could say that what I am doesn't mind. That's a good one, but doesn't mind that there's a person who's complaining all the time.
No, yeah. Who I really am is just noticing it all. You know, whether there's a lot of thought or pain or fear or any kind of drama or sensation or problem, who I am doesn't actually care. I mean, it's not a kind of cold caring of like, you know, suffer, but it's noticing it happen, seeing that actually it doesn't actually touch who I really am, as much as it might completely touch this body, and that everything is fully felt. So it's not a kind of detached place, but it's seeing that it's not actually happening to me. It's happening in me.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Not happening to you, to me, but happening as me, or
also as me. Yeah, yeah. In fact, there's no separation between that is noticing and that it's happening to. You know, it's just that it's not the story of me. So it's not happening to the me that I think I am, but it's happening to who I really am.
And that won't be affected by it.
No, and yet plays as if it is affected. It's that crazy paradox that isn't logical.
Because otherwise, it's like watching a movie and you don't get involved with the characters and don't feel with them. And
yeah, well, the character in the movie is fully involved in this movie. You know, she might cry, she might scream, or feel stuff. You know, but who I am is always just noticing it. And it's that simultaneously, and it's only in the words now as we try to describe this that it seems like two different things, but actually if we could say all those words all at once it would be better, because actually it's all happening simultaneously, and we're actually talking about one thing.
No duality.
Yeah.
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 So at retreats, do people sometimes look at you with a little suspense, or how you call it, like, oh, let's see how she acts.
Yeah.
She acts differently. Then, oh, look, she's the first to take she took the biggest piece of the pie. Well, she couldn't be enlightened. She takes the biggest piece of pie.
Well, I mean, that's what I kind of enjoy at retreats, because people get to see me more than just at a meeting, and they get to see how actually I'm kind of ordinary, you know,
sunbathing,
ordinary things, sunbathing, or taking a walk, or you know, having breakfast when I'm just waking up and I'm not feeling that awake yet, and they see me more as an ordinary person, and that I'm not kind of somehow up on this pedestal.
Yeah. No guru things going on.
No.
Like Osho, who drove with his big Rolls Royce, and then people started cheering and dancing. And
well, we do some cheering and dancing sometimes.
Yeah, but not for the guru. No.
No.
But there are some people who say there should be distance between the one who's talking about this and expressing it, and the people who are just getting a hang of it or something.
Well, there's a certain distance in terms of like just kind of protecting this body a little bit, because when I first started holding meetings and retreats, I would make no difference and just hang out with people afterwards, and as if they were friends, and But I found it very exhausting. There weren't boundaries between what we talk about in the meetings and what we talk about outside the meetings. And so now I'm a little bit more careful with that, just because it can be completely exhausting. So I usually, like after the meeting, I will say, let's not talk about the same stuff, because it's, I need a break. So, or I'll just go.
There surely are people in your life who you never ever talked about this stuff with. Maybe family or friends.
Yeah.
But they know that you travel through Europe. What do they ask you? What do you tell those people? Well, you have to say something. What does the normal society think you are doing?
Well, some people think that I'm giving lectures. That's kind of easier.
About your books.
About my books, or I'm an author or something. Which is also true. It's just it gets a little bit tricky when they ask me what I'm talking about or what I'm writing about. But depending on who it is, because sometimes someone who seems like they're not that interested can actually turn out to have some kind of opening to this. So it depends on who I'm talking to. But sometimes I'll just say, I write or speak about life. And sometimes if there is some kind of opening to hear this, then I'll perhaps say, it's pointing to what is beyond who you think you are.
Yeah.
And if they ask again, maybe, if they ask more, then I'll speak a little bit more. But I'll never push it onto anybody, because actually what we're talking about is losing your whole life. It's completely devastating if you really hear it. So, in a way, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. I wouldn't wish it on anybody, in a way.
And on yourself? Do you, in retrospect?
I always knew this as a child. So I never had a kind of before, really. But
how do you know it? How do you know as a child? How did you know?
It was always obvious to me that everything that was happening in life was kind of wasn't real, or it was just a movie, just playing out.
One big play.
Yeah, I never believed that she was a real person or a separate person. And obviously, growing up, I learnt how to interact and be, kind of play out as if I was a separate person. But it never felt right, and I was very depressed and suicidal for years because it just didn't feel right to play that game.
Was it difficult, like the teenage years when you at high school and stuff like
difficult.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't participate in all that have to have the new Nike shoes and stuff like that, or.
Yeah, well, I didn't know how. And I was longing to fit in with people and be normal in a way. I just saw myself as abnormal. And I tried different ways to fit in with people, and I always felt like a complete outcast. Very strange person. Everyone thought I was strange. But in time, over the years, I've also seen that was a kind of victim story. It was a bit of an insecure story, about that it was actually a me story that had come up, as if there was a me, and it was a kind of survival mechanism, because I didn't know how to be in this world of no me.
How was that diagnosed when you were a teenager? Did they put a label on it?
They, as in...
And maybe parents or people at school or teachers say, well, she has this, or she has this, or she acts like this.
Well, I was, I guess, just classed as a very depressed teenager.
Yeah?
I didn't really speak about it very much. My parents tried to send me to a therapist, but I didn't really go then until... I went a little bit later to a therapist for a while, but I never found that helped.
And what was the first thing you found in the world? You said, I'm not that crazy, look.
Well, when I went travelling, and I went to India, and I started a little bit of the spiritual search. I never really did too many spiritual practices. I did quite a lot of meditation for a while, but and with that I found some clarity, more and more, just seeing thought for what it is, seeing through my own beliefs about myself. But then when I went to Delano in Pune in India, she was describing what I already knew, and it was the first time I'd heard anyone ever say this before. You know,
Yeah.
I was shocked that it's possible to say it out loud.
What you always knew.
Yeah.
But it's true that you had to do a lot of, how do you call it, write letters and stuff to even get to the satsang with her. Or yeah, it's not something that you buy a ticket for.
No, you have to write to her or email her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have to do a lot of work before you could?
Not a lot of work,
No?
but I was lying in bed with a broken leg. I think I probably told you this story last time we met. But I'd just been in a therapy group and trying to kill my mother and father. not really, psychologically. And broken my leg in the catharsis part of the workshop, and I was really even more depressed. And I wrote to her, to Delano, and I said, you know, I'm so depressed and I've broken my leg and I'm ready to die. I said, I think I'm ready to die. And she wrote back saying, write to me when you're sure you're ready to die. So, I waited a few more days and went even more crazy. And then wrote to her again saying, now I'm sure. And then I went.
Wouldn't that be a good tool for your satsangs also, that people first have to do an intake? Because I can imagine that there's a lot of people coming to a satsang who are just interested in hearing it and the nice experience, like a movie, and then they go away again and
yeah. Well, you know, it's been an interesting journey in the last I don't know how many years I've been doing this, maybe 10 years or something. That you know, when I first started, I had a few. There were a couple teachers that had been quite a big influence on me, and so when I first started, it was quite natural that the expression was certainly influenced by Delano and some others. But over the years, as I've been doing this more, a different kind of expression has come, and more of a sense of what feels right for me, you know, to express and my way with people, because Delano, for example, she's quite tough with people, which for me at that time was perfect, but it doesn't suit everybody. And it doesn't suit me to be that tough all the time. It doesn't feel so good for me physically. So sometimes I am very tough with people, and sometimes not so tough and quite gentle. So for me it feels more natural for it to be kind of spontaneously, however it is, with you know, responding to each person.
Is it more suitable for people from Holland and Belgium and Germany and instead of people from America? Is there like a barrier between? Do you feel no?
No,
it's universal.
I have people who come from. I go to America as well, or Australia, and
so it has nothing to do with where you come from, the conditioning,
No, I mean, of course, people have similar conditioning all over the world, similar stories that play out, obviously in different accents and
ever been
different culture.
Yeah, but ever been to China with this message? Or?
No, not been to China.
Or
India.
India. No. Japan, maybe?
I've been to Japan, but not
no.
Not to teach.
I'm curious if people there.
Yeah, it could be interesting.
How they respond to this message? Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.